You can just focus your attention to the stage and make Denis a little more nervous than he already is.
Thank you. Wow. My heart's still racing from that walk-in, so sorry. By the way, that was completely improvised. There was no rehearsal for that. So before I begin, on behalf of the bride and groom, I'd like to thank you all once again for being here from far and near. Especially after we received the very unfortunate news that Julia's parents would not be able to be here. So your presence here today means that much more on this very important day in their lives. So thank you. So, luckily for their parents, we decided that one ceremony wasn't enough and that we'd be bringing the wedding over to them in China in August, because that's just a sort of crazy thing that this family does. So, you better get used to that, Julia. So yeah, we're here today for the union between Julia and Simon. And yes, I'm making the speech in English, but I refuse to call him Simon. I'm going to call you Simon, because that's how I grew up calling you. I grew up calling you. Just like my name is Denis and not Denis. And let's face it, this family does have a history of confused identity. We don't even know if our father's name is Mahad or Paul. Nobody knows what the call is. I mean, the youngest in the family didn't even know his name until he was about 6 years old. He thought his name was Roger. And I'll let you in on a little family secret. If you thought our last name was Habib, our original last name is not Habib, it's Malouf, but that sounded terrible, so my apologies to the real Habib family in the room. But enough about the family. Today is about Simon and Julia. Or should I say Chi Xiao Hui? I guess the tradition just keeps going with you. So, on behalf of the whole family, I welcome you as a confused Habib. No, but seriously, Julia, I gotta say, you look amazing today, as expected.
Thank you.
Round of applause for that, I guess. And I gotta say, your fun and funny personality, I could have never imagined would be such a perfect match for Simon, but it is. And he only had to travel to the other end of the world to find it, but that's another story. And we only had to travel halfway across the world to France to meet you, so I guess that wasn't such a bad introduction to the family, wasn't it? I guess, like I said, that's just the kind of crazy things that we do, so get used to it. But let's talk a little bit about Simon here. I'm going to have a little bit of fun here, so. So, growing up, he made sure, we have a 5 years difference between us, but he made sure I never felt that way. He made sure we were on the same level at all times. Often, that's a really good thing, but I gotta say, sometimes it's a bit of a weird thing. For example, when I'm 9 and you're 14 and we're still playing with our action figures, that's a bit weird, I gotta say. There's also something that I want to talk about with everybody else, because for those of you that don't know him that well, there's something I like to call his deduction sense. In French, son sens de déduction. Let me explain. Whenever Simon doesn't understand something, and trust me, that happens often. As a matter of fact, my mother brought him to a hearing doctor just to get him tested, to which the doctor said, "Get the hell out of my office." Whenever Simon doesn't hear something, he has a tendency of making his own conclusions as to what the person said, as opposed to doing what a normal person should do and say, "What?" So, and that has gotten him in trouble in the past. For example, in grade school, he had to prepare for a school play, and instead of following the instructions, which was to wear your normal gym uniform to the play, he showed up wearing his very own custom-made t-shirt with a portrait of himself hanging out with his best buddies, the Ninja Turtles. And he performed his play in this Ninja Turtles t-shirt in front of the whole school and the whole play. So. Enough with the embarrassing stories though, because there's so much more to be said about who he is as a person. I could say with absolute certainty that I would not be the person that I am today if it wasn't for growing up with my older brother Simon.
Wow.
We used to call each other best buds back in the day. I don't know if you remember, but I still do. And your kindness, generosity, selflessness, and patience has never failed to guide me along the way. And let's not forget your creative sense of make-believe with your own inventions such as Piège Nigo or Bébé Monstre Rouge. You have always been a person that I could rely on, and not only that, you've created an image of a role model that I will always be able to look up to. I remember when I was 4 years old, one of my earliest memories, when we drove down to Disney in a van with the whole family, I decided to use your tummy as a pillow. And I couldn't get over how comfortable his tummy was. So I decided to call him Kusen for a while after that. And as funny as that is, I never realized until now how appropriate that nickname was, because you always have been that person that I could rely on, or in this case, literally lie on. We're all here today because this man knows exactly what he wants in life, and he'll do everything he can to keep it that way. For example, at the age of around 14, I believe, he found his passion in computer animation and stuck by that until he found his dream job at Ubisoft. Through this dream job at Ubisoft, got a 2-year working term in China, where he meets Julia, and 2 years later, with hard work and a long-term relationship and 2 visits to China later, he's getting married to the woman he loves now. And I gotta say, that dedication and the qualities that I said before, I gotta say would beyond any reasonable doubt that Julia will be the luckiest girl in the world if he treats her anywhere as near as he treated his family and friends over the years. So congratulations. I'd like you all to raise your glass for a toast now. Simon, you have always been a man of fate who believes in fate, sometimes in crazy ways, like trying to find meaning to the number 23. Please stop that. That's just crazy. And honestly, I'm here to tell you that your quest to find fate ends here today because she's standing on your right now. May your marriage hold even crazier and happier stories than all the stories we've shared together over the years. Cheers. Cheers.